Well, Southeast Asia is very rich region. Almost all the mineral resources are located here.
In terms of mining, we have bauxite, iron, copper, gold, precious stones such as diamonds. And on the other side, we also have some oil and gas resources.
The Philippines is one of the resource-rich countries in the world. So there's recognition that in some areas we cannot do mining, so we have no-go zones in the Philippines, but we also recognize that in some areas mining is a livelihood.
So the major extractive industry in Malaysia has to be the oil and gas industry. We have about 600,000 kilometers square available for oil and gas exploration.
Actually, Vietnam is not really rich resource country. However, mineral resource plays quite important roles in our economies. For example, coal, we have exploited coal for over 100 years ago, and coal mining is play very important roles in our economies. Especially the oil and gas contributes around 20 to 30% of central budget. So the revenue from oil and gas sector is very important for the government.
Sure, because the Southeast Asia environment is so different, but obviously it's maybe not as important as in some other region of the world, like the Middle East. In most of the country, it's an important issue of development because it brings significant revenue to the countries.
Tetapi di samping kontribusinya yang besar juga, sumber daya ekstraktif ini kan juga memberikan dampak yang luas kepada publik, entah itu dampak lingkungan, kerusakan, konflik sosial, begitu ya.
The extractive industry, not only in the region but on a global level, has been plagued by a level of opacity and by a lack of transparency and accountability.
There is no legislation that mandates disclosure of information. So we don't have a Freedom of Information Act, and that would make it quite a challenge for us to get information on a lot of, so for instance, the contract that Petronas enter with other companies or etc.
In Vietnam, there are very few independent CSO working with extractive industry. So the participation of CSO in pushing the better governance of extractive industry is still very limited.
We have lack of regulations and legislation. We also have a vacuum regarding mining safety law.
Actually, we have no big challenges. We adopted a petroleum fund system. It was saying that every company, industries that operated in Timor, they have to publish every revenues that they paid to the government.
Civil society is playing a crucial role. In my view, there's sort of three elements that the extractive industry needs to comply with. First of all is a strong regulatory framework, a strong legal framework. Secondly is the political will and the political attitudes that needs to be there. And thirdly is the role of an independent and well-informed civil society, and that includes the media, it includes parliamentarians, and it includes community groups. For me it's interesting, and there's a lot of commitment and a lot of enthusiasm to go subnational. To really work with the communities that are living close to the extractive sites. I see that in Indonesia very strongly, I see that in the Philippines, and to a lesser extent, well actually Timor-Leste is another one, and then Cambodia is coming up. But especially in Indonesia and the Philippines and Timor-Leste, they want to work with the communities.
So what we can do is to arrest the leakage of money from mining that the communities are supposed to receive. So that's where CSOs can come in, no? to inform the community and to educate the community about what to check, how much to check, and where these revenues are going.
And we also pushed on the education at a grassroots level. So we believe that this demand for good governance, for transparency, has to come from the people of Cambodia.
Well, I think we can learn a lot from some initiative, for instance, that has been done in the subnational, implementing mini EITI or transparencies and accountability standard in terms of revenue collection and management in the subnational level, in the local level?
Actually, I think right now, EITI is not very challenging because it's the only issue where the government, the industry, and the civil society agrees on. So we're very confident that EITI will provide the venue for the three stakeholders to discuss important issues in the extractive.
So let's manage well to avoid a resource curse, because if not, one day when the oil and gas done, then the country will collapse.
Again, the key is multi-stakeholders dialogue. We can encourage them to do multi-stakeholders dialogue effectively, and then step by step, I think we are getting there.